on December 15, 1980. Three divers with basic cave diving certification planned a routine cave dive at the Emerald Sinkhole. The three entered the water one by one, following the guide rope laid by previous divers. This guide rope, running through the main tunnel, is the only recognized safety reference in the entire cave. The guide rope clearly points to the sinkhole's surface exit. Guided by the rope, they smoothly reached the limit point, which is 24 meters from the cave entrance and 45 meters from the surface. Bill assessed the team's air supply and the underwater environment, signaling the two team members to return the same way. The team then steadily retreated towards the surface along the guide rope. The return journey was smooth and uneventful at first, and the team was getting closer to the surface exit, about to leave the complex deep cave area. At this critical stage near the exit, Bill suddenly turned around, repeatedly signaling warnings to the two companions, firmly indicating that the current route was wrong and that everyone was moving away from the correct exit. The two team members stared at the line markers on the guide rope, and no matter how they looked, the route seemed correct. How could it be the wrong tunnel? But in the deep enclosed environment, verbal communication was impossible. Plus, Bill was the team leader, and following team cooperation norms, the two team members eventually obeyed his command, following Bill back into the cave's depths, returning to a previous junction. Bill directly pointed to a dark, narrow side tunnel, insisting that this was the correct return route, and continued to signal defensively. He demanded that the two companions follow him deeper. The two team members looked at Bill in confusion, repeatedly shining their dive lights on the line markers on the guide rope, trying to make Bill see the route markers, and continuously using hand signals to explain to Bill. However, as the leader, Bill believed he had dived more water than they had walked, firmly insisting that his route was the correct one. Meanwhile, the remaining air in the two team members' tanks had reached the safety threshold. According to the general rule of thirds for cave diving air usage, the remaining air was only enough for the two to return the same way. Once they entered an unknown blind tunnel, the air would inevitably run out, leading to the fatal risk of drowning. Faced with a life-or-death decision, the two team members adhered to the first safety rule of cave diving. Always trust the guide rope markers, and never blindly follow anyone's subjective judgment. Ultimately, they clearly refused to follow Bill into the unknown blind tunnel. The three of them completely separated underwater.